Hello everyone, this has got nothing to do with X19s, but it has got to do with trains. I'm at Parr railway station in Cornwall, not far from where I live. And if you're in America, it might be interesting. I'm going to Newquay on a little train that goes up these tracks to the right. It's not a very long trip, it takes about half an hour or something like that. But we've got these old-fashioned semaphore signals here, and they must be some of the last in Great Britain. Everywhere else has got electric signals, but down here for some reason, and I thought I'd video with them, we've got these lovely set here, and they're Victorian. Or perhaps a bit later, but the idea is, you can see the finials on the top and the branch line down here that goes to Newquay, and you can get on a train in the summertime from Paddington, get off your plane from America, go to Paddington and get on a really good train, and it takes you all the way down there, and it goes down this little branch line that you don't have to get off the train and change, and that's in the summer. And then we've got a lovely old signal box here. These are all going, this must be one of the last places to have them, but this got the high-speed train that comes all the way from London right down to Penzance. That's Penzance down there. See, look, it's got Parr signal box, proper old sign. Sort of like being on a preserved railway, but this is British Rail down here in Cornwall. And the sun's coming up on the left, that's in the east here, so that's the south down there, and then we look all around and we've got the track up there, and it's still quite Victorian, this station. There's quite a few on the line down here, and that's the way up to London, where I've gone many times going to Australia. And the other thing I was going to talk to you about was a scientist. He's dead now, but top scientist called Thomas Gold. And with what's going on in Israel today and all the problems, you'd think, well, what's he got to do with? Well, he's got an idea that, and you can buy a book, although you have to look for it, saying that fossil fuel is a fallacy, really, and that most fuel is made by bacteria in the Earth's mantle. And you think, goodness, that's ridiculous. Everybody knows they're fossil and they're sedimentary. Well, certainly lignite is, and peat, and I was always brought up to think it, and I thought, well, that must be. But after reading his book, I'm sharing his conviction. There's quite a lot of chemistry in the beginning of it, and I'm not a really good chemist. But Thomas Gold, if you just have a look on the internet, the abiotic theory of how fuels are made, and he says in Texas there's no end of oil wells that have emptied and then start filling themselves up, and there's oil in mines here in Cornwall dripping from the ceiling and that, and in Looe. And it's produced, he reckons, by the action of carbon and hydrogens and stuff, and it makes methane. And he points out there's methane on most of the planets in the solar system, certainly on Mars, and it's not organic and it can't be sedimentary. It's nothing to do with the sun and photosynthesis, seeing there isn't any. But anyway, his name's Thomas Gold, and if you're a bit of a skeptic like I am, you might want to have a look at it. I could be a big fool, but they're drilling for oil in the Siljan Ring in Sweden, and the government and a petrol company there are putting lots of money in. And when he drilled back in 1990, I think it was 2000 or something, they got 84 barrels of oil out of it. Some people say they got nothing, but the government says they got 84 barrels. So if oil's everywhere, basically, if you can look for it, but it's not in necessary positions, well then some of the Arab countries won't have a monopoly on it, and the price of oil will come down, which will give them less political power, being the big thing, seeing that Qatar seems to be funding Hamas at the moment. I know this is political, but nevertheless I don't like seeing anybody being hurt. And so if we can have political power diluted because there's oil available in more places, surely that would be a good thing. But that's the closest I'll get to politics. But the idea of fossil fuel not being fossil is an interesting thing. Anyway, there we go. So that's me on my way to Newquay today on the little train, and I hope you all have a good day. And the Fiat's still going well. It went to Lou yesterday and back, and I did a video, but it was too windy and it sounded awful. But here we are on a promising day. Anybody that likes to leave comments, please do. I always like reading them, no matter what they say. That's a bit of a risk, and I'll see if I can reply. And as for subscribing, that's up to you. I don't do it to grow the channel, I just do it for fun. Anyway, all the best to you from here in Par. Bye bye.